has been sworn in as the interim president of Venezuela. We'll talk about what impact Donald Trump, the US president's foreign policy implications, not just for the Western Hemisphere, but furtherly around the world. You look about regime change and oil and all the things. And in the past, US presidents would often hide their true intentions. They know it's about regime change. They all know it's about power, and they know it's about oil. But what do? They actually don't talk about those things. What's a breath of fresh air, whether you like Donald Trump or you don't like Donald Trump, is the fact that he says what he means. And he said quite openly, it's all about the oil, it's all about regime change, and it's all about stopping, as President Trump has said, drug cartels in Venezuela bringing in drugs into the United States. Many commentators and experts have said that is not happening. Venezuela, in terms of the drug cartels, it's very small in comparison to some other countries as well. So we'll be talking about that. We'll also be talking about the ever-increasing protest about the dire economic situation in Iran. Now, the Ayatollah Khamenei has said that the protesters who are protesting about the economic situation have a right to be heard, but writers, disruptors, and opponents of the regime do not. So where do these protests happen to be heading towards in 2026? And the UK elections, it's 2026. In May, there are going to be elections to the Scottish Parliament, the Welsh Assembly, and local elections across this country. Is it a referendum for British Prime Minister Keir Starmer? And how will the Conservatives, Reform, the Liberal Democrats, the Greens, and now the Your Party, and the many independent candidates across the country, how will they fare? And what will that election result in May mean for Kemi Badenoch, the leader of the Conservative Party, for Sir Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, leader of the Labour Party, as well as the smaller opposition? And then we'll finish off talking about Imran Khan, and who has been incarcerated in prison on those charges. He's been found guilty recently of 17 years for Toshakana 2. Again, Imran Khan, his supporters in the PTI have said that these charges are drummed up. They're politically motivated charges because he's refusing to be cowed by the establishment and military. We'll talk about that. And what does the future hold for Pakistan in 2026? We have an extraordinary, talented, knowledgeable, active, always busy, a very good friend of mine, Dr. Hamid Al-Mashriqi, who's the international broadcaster and commentator, joining us. I'd say he'd be joining us just from up the road here in Manchester, but he's not in Manchester tonight. He is in the Pakistani capital in Islamabad, and he joins us live there from Islamabad. Let's welcome to the programme. But whilst we're doing that, let's remind you of the number on the screen as well. 0161 529 9455 is the number here in the studio. You can talk to us, share your New Year's resolutions, what your thoughts are about those issues. But let's welcome Dr. Hamid. Dr. Hamid, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum salam, Shafiq bhai. Thank you very much, and a happy new year on your first program to your viewers. And it's a pleasure to be on Takbeer TV with you. It's really great.
Absolutely pleasure to have you, sir. You're somebody who appears on my television screen many times in different platforms, in different networks around the world, and particularly you take on the battle in India as well. So welcome. Let's start first of all. The Venezuelan president, Nicolas Maduro, was captured by the US in that daring raid on Saturday. He was flown to New York. He's appeared in court today. He's pleaded not guilty, and he said he is still the legitimate president of Venezuela. What do you first of all make of the military strikes on Venezuela and the capture of President Maduro?
Yes, Shafiq, it is very, I would say, unprecedented example set by President Trump the way they invaded in Venezuela, and the way they, I would say, kidnapped him. Honestly speaking, it was not expected the way they did it, and especially, the president of a country who, I mean, every country have their sovereignty, have their own, and this is happening to a country means the rest of the world is in a very different alarming situation now, because as I was reading in another newspaper, and they were saying that it means that now so many powerful countries can do the same. Can China attack on Taiwan to bring the president of Taiwan to back to their countries, or can as you say, as you may have seen on the Scottish Parliament, where they said that shall we do this to the Netanyahu to bring him to the justice and arrest him like that. So this is very, I mean, harsh. This is very surprising step, but nothing surprises from Donald Trump, as
Yeah.
we have seen. And Maduro's, the statement in the court today in New York is as expected. I mean, he clearly said he's not guilty. He clearly said, that it is a America regime, Americans plan to change the regime, and the people of Venezuela will not accept it, and they will react it. So we have to see. Actually, there are two, three main things in this whole scenario. One, we have to see what is the reaction from the public in Venezuela, in Caracas and other cities, because some of the channels are showing that there is celebration. Some of the channels are showing there is protest. Some of them showing that the opposition is going to take up the power, and the vice president, or some are saying that vice president will support, eventually the American, aggression. So we have to see which way it goes, because then there is a second part of it, that what world's reaction. We have seen that Italy and France and Britain have justified Americans' action, which is again, I have failed to understand that how can we justify, taking some president from a country, going to a capital, invading it with the military.
Dr. Sam, I just wanted to ask you about that, because you're the president of a country. You have a lot of special close protection officers. Your presidential palace and the way you travel and all of that's high security. That the Americans were able to penetrate the air defenses which are provided by China and Russia, which suggests that they're not very good, or the United States has superior air power, and then that they were able to get into the presidential palace, go to the exact room where the president and his wife were sleeping, and able to capture them. Do you think there are people within the Venezuelan government and the military who saw that £50 million bounty on his head and thought, well, actually, I want a bit of that money?
Definitely, that is the biggest reason. I mean, it is a supported job by the insiders. It is from the military, it is from their security, it is from their administration. It cannot be done so smoothly like that. What happened exactly? That, I mean, they enter in the capital, and then in the middle of the capital, the most secure building, the palace, then the most secure room. They know the exact place, exact time, and exact location and everything. It can't be done without the support from the inside, and this is what exactly happened. That is why I'm emphasizing on the developments in coming days. We have to see which way it goes within the country, because if it is with the popular politics or populist public, then America will do whatever they want to do. But we all know that Venezuela have the most oil reserves in the world, the highest oil reserves in the world, more than the Saudi Arabia or any Arab country, more than America, more than anywhere. Then they have minerals, then they have a lot of natural resources. So, I mean, it is all about that thing. We have seen what happened in Iraq. Iraq was not making any weapon of mass destruction. There was no WMDs in the end. It was admission from Dick Cheney and Donald Rumsfeld, if you remember. So, I mean, it was eventually the attack for the oil resources in Iraq, and same script is repeated in Venezuela. And sadly, yes,
So, Doctor,
it could not have been possible without the inside support.
Just as we're talking now, the vice president is Delcy Rodriguez. She's just been sworn in as the new president, interim president of Venezuela. That's just happening at the National Assembly in Caracas.
Yeah.
I just want to set out for our viewers on Saturday morning, she was very, very angry, demanded that President Maduro and his wife were returned to Venezuela. She was attacked the US government for their imperial ambitions. But today, her tone was somewhat different. She wanted to work with the United States. She said she'd never compromise on colonialism where it came from, but wanted to build a partnership. Is this an example of a regime that is worried about its very existence?
Actually, we all know that the way they have taken the president, it is whosoever has taken over, whether it was Delcy or any other person, they have to be compromised. Otherwise, the aims of American cannot be fulfilled. And otherwise, American has to bring their boots on the ground. Without bringing the boots on the ground, if they get the support from the whosoever come in power, their job is done, their aims are completed. And that is what I believe that going to happen, unless there will be, unless there will be some kind of reaction from the public, unless there is a large protest there against Americans, unless there is a very, very, I would say, strict reaction from China or Russia, which we have not seen. China has not given very strict, to be honest, response on it. They just said that they will follow the law and everything. Russia has not given any, strong statement so far. So it seems that because it's in South of America, it is very far reach from Russia and China. I mean, logistically, geographically. So there is a maximum they can do, and the ground realities are favoring Trump. But we have to see that, is it going to be a start of new colonialism? Is it going to be a start of new precedents that any powerful country can do the same? Is it going?
Yeah, President Trump has just been talking over the last couple of days. He's been mentioning Mexico potentially for military strikes, Cuba, Colombia. So this president, who stood on a platform of anti-war, he said he was opposed to foreign wars. Do you remember? We've had this conversation many times on a different platform. In those US elections in 2016, he got the Republican nomination because he said he was against the ongoing endless wars committed by the United States and America first. There's lots of people in the United States who are very angry, his supporters, because he's doing what US presidents do, which is colonialism, military actions, regime change, and it's all about money and oil.
Yes, definitely. I mean, we have seen the reaction from Mamdani, the mayor of New York. We have seen the reaction from some Republican, senators, and we have seen the reaction from Democrats. We have seen the reaction from Kamala Harris. They all are opposing it. But as a matter of fact, at the moment, Trump is doing what he wants to do. And as far as you said that he is the one who is not in favor of wars, I think his slogan for not going for war or stopping the war for only 2025. Now he's more ambitious for the new year. So I think this year he wants to do the other way around. It looks like he's even threatening to attack on Greenland. I mean, he is taking next 3 years as much as he wants to do, something to bring the great change in the global, scenarios. But it's going to be very catastrophic what he is doing. I don't think so. In modern era, you can be successful implementing colonialism, or you can be, doing the same practices of 200 years ago. I think it's going to be very dangerous because at some point, China, Russia, and other powers has to be involved. So that would be very dangerous. So I can see lots of wars in 2026. That is the main thing. We have seen the crisis in Iran, as we're going to talk about it. We can see the crisis in Ukraine-Russia war. We have seen Iran and Israel Israel is ready to attack. So 2026 would be the most anticipated year for upcoming wars. I can see that. I mean, may Allah save everyone. But that's the truth.
I think that's really interesting. I just wanted to ask you, in November this year, we've got the US midterm elections to US Congress, both the Senate a third of the
Yeah.
Senate, and the whole of the House of Representatives. The Republicans were supposed to take action on the Obama health subsidies, which have expired. So people's health insurance costs are going to go up in the next few weeks. There's inflation, there's cost of living, people's prices are going up. They're blaming the government. It's Donald Trump. Do you think the Democrats will win in November and win big?
Yes, definitely. I can see a Republican and Donald Trump in big trouble in these midterm elections, and it's because the slogan of MAGA, Make America Great Again, is dying within the first year of its presidency, and the things which people of America are facing are very disappointing for them in terms of job opportunities, in terms of inflation, in terms of housing prices, in terms of health crisis, in terms of a lot of things. So, I mean, it is very, very challenging. And I think, again, I have seen a lot of things. The Trump is practicing the typical, the narrative of Netanyahu that let's engage your nation in the war and get the votes on the name of nationalism or patriotism or something like that. But I think Americans are not gonna fall into that. Israeli public is different. Indian public is different. They do fall into these kind of false flag operations, and they do fall into these, patriotism slogans, actually where there is a political motive behind it. But in America, I think it is very difficult to misguide your public in that way when it comes to their local problems.
You mentioned China. Brother Shiraz Khan says China has given a very strong statement in that Emergency Security Council
Statement.
meeting this morning. What would you say to that?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Shafiq, I have very reserved remarks about China's reaction. The only reason is the statements are not gonna be enough. We have seen China's statement during 2 years of attack on Gaza. What happened? Nothing happened. I mean, it could not stop Israel. Then we have seen China's statement about Ukraine-Russia war. Because Venezuela was depending so much on Chinese friendship, Chinese defense system, China's support, I believe that yes, China has to take some strong, tangible action somewhere else just to push America somewhere that they are doing it wrong. If they can't do it in Venezuela, they have to do something. Otherwise, the countries or the regimes who are in support or in the camp of Chinese, they will think that when it comes to the trouble to us, when it comes a hard time on those countries, China did not or does not support
Okay.
so openly. That is a very sensitive question.
Yeah, let's move on because we obviously got very little time and time flies. I know when I'm talking to you. Let's talk about the protests in Iran, which have happened over the last couple of weeks, I think. I seem to have got progressively worse. Ayatollah Khamenei has said that he thinks that the people have legitimate concerns around the economy, the fact that inflation and the security situation in the country. But he thinks that the state should clamp down heavy on those agitators, disruptors and rioters. What do you make of these protests, and what impact do you think it'll have on the Iranian government in 2026?
Shafiq, these protests and the propaganda about these protests, hype of these propaganda of protests is entirely different. I do understand that what's happening about the crisis of the currency, like dollar is or nearly 2 million rupees of one real, Irani real, 2 million Irani real are equal to $1, and all that crisis. I do understand. Protest, understand. Casualties, I understand. But still, we have to look into the hybrid warfare, lens. We have to look it into what Mossad is doing in it, what America's achieving out of it. Because of the recent war between Iran and Israel, the way Irani defended themselves, and now this is another, I would say that a very deep game plan where they want to destabilize the government, where they want the current regime to topple the current regime, and they want to do that. I mean, yes, Khamenei or the current Irani regime has to take some tangible actions to control the inflation, the crisis, economical crisis, and all. There is very serious situation in Iran in terms of common people lives. They are suffering, but on the other hand, uh, a foreign element is involved there. We cannot deny that fact. And the elements who are trying to topple this government of Iran that is their main motive behind it.
Yeah.
And they are doing the same practice which they did it in Libya, they did it in Syria. So I think
But isn't it
I
extraordinary that the Ayatollah Khamenei, the supreme leader, is actually saying that protesters who are protesting about the economy and the lack of jobs and the rise of inflation have a right to do that? I've never heard an Iranian leader or even the supreme leader talk like that.
I'll tell you, I believe that the President Pezeshkian of Iran, right, he is a weak president. There is no doubt. And then during the war with Israel, their highest leadership have been assassinated. Their political leadership, their military leadership, their religious leadership have been assassinated by Israelis. So there is a crisis of leadership, and sadly, President Pezeshkian is not being able to, maneuver, or is not being able to handle and come out of it. So I can see the Khamenei statement is actually a sign that if he has to change, or if he has to support any kind of a temporary technocrat or some kind of controlled government, he will support that. But that he wants to have, or to maintain the supreme leader power in his hand, rather than what other countries are trying, that the whole supreme leader scenario should be toppled up, and Khamenei may have to go and get refuge in Moscow or somewhere. He's trying to overcome that possibility, and he's giving a very clear message that if he has to support any change in government due to the lack of governance or the other internal issues, he will support it. And I think that is going to be happen if the protesters are not getting controlled.
Do you think the Iranian regime will survive 2026?
Next 7 days are critical. If they survive in next 7 days, they will survive. Otherwise, no. Next 72 hours to 96 hours are very critical.
Very critical.
I am saying with very strong resources.
Okay, let's move on. UK elections, as we said, there are going to be parliamentary elections in Scotland, Scottish Parliament elections. There'll be elections for the Welsh Senate in Wales, and there'll also be local council elections across the country. It is billed as a test for the Prime Minister, British Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer, who is in his second year as UK Prime Minister. He's under a lot of pressure. Also, you've got Reform with Nigel Farage, also massively increased in the polls. And then you've got the ever decreasing position of the Conservatives under Kemi Badenoch. How do you see these elections? Let's put Keir Starmer to his side for a second. Let's just talk about Labour, the Conservatives, Reform, Liberal Democrats, Greens. How do you see these elections in Scotland and Wales and local authorities?
To be honest, there is no doubt that Labour is going to suffer a lot because of the, I would say, weak leadership of Sir Keir Starmer. One thing. Secondly, yes, in Scotland, Labour has a better chance because of Anas Sarwar's leadership. There is no doubt that he has worked so hard in the last few years that due to his personal efforts and his personal, I would say, communication with the Scottish people, yes, Scottish Party may suffer against Anas Sarwar. And in terms of reforms, yes, they do have gained so much popularity. They do have, but I still believe that sometimes polls are different than the public, overall, results. So I think it will not be as much as popular in terms of results, as much as the polls are showing. Polls could be a little bit deceiving as well, or
Yeah.
because
But
we have to see
it's that sense
where
of
are those polls are coming from.
Yeah, it's just that consistent level of support. In Scotland, you've got the SNP, let's not forget.
Yes. Yes,
Okay, let's take a
absolutely.
call and we'll talk about the individual situations in Scotland and Wales separately in a second. If you want to join us on the conversation, it's looking at 2026 0161 529 9455. Let's go to the lines. Assalamu alaikum. You're live on Takbeer TV. What's your name and where you come from?
I've got a question about situation in Iran. Is there any indication that America is behind the crisis in Iran? Because I heard in the news that Iran was planning another attack on Israel. So is America behind what is happening in Iran? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your question. Dr. Hamid, I know we moved on a bit, but that's a question. Obviously we had the 12-day war between Israel and Iran, the US bombing alleged nuclear sites, rebuilding of those sites ongoing at the moment, Israel saying they want to rebomb again. There's lots happening, but do you think there are people in Iran from other groups who are supported by the United States and others?
There is some penetration from American influence in Iran. There is no doubt about it, especially with the young generation, where they support modernism, where they support, they are not very orthodox. Yes, that is a support. There is a support, but I don't think so that there was any plan from Iran to attack on Israel at all. Yes, there is a clear indications of American and Mossad's involvement in protests in Iran, and there are very strong evidence about it. But it is mainly due to the inside suffering of the people, inside inflation, no jobs, food crisis, housing crisis, and a lot of other crises are going on, especially for the common people. So yes, when there is a crisis, and especially situation with Iran, Iran-Israel war, America will take every possible opportunity to topple this government. And yes, there is a very highly possibility of American elements behind these protests. But Iran will never take the first initiative to attack on Israel. That is for sure, under its current situation.
Yeah, we're not even beginning to talk about Gaza, which we need to do as well. Let's just talk about Scotland. So Scotland, we have the SNP, Scottish National Party, in power. They've been in power since 2011, which is coming over to nearly over 25 years of being in power. Considerably. New Scottish First Minister John Swinney, actually way ahead of Reform, the Conservatives, Labour in third place. So it looks like that if the polls are correct, the SNP will form the next government. The debates around why there'll be majority or coalition government. But that's Scotland. In Wales have run the Welsh Assembly for 30 years. Imagine being in power for 30 years. They're now polling, Dr. Saab, in third place behind Reform, who are in second, and Plaid Cymru and the Welsh Nationalist Party, who are in first. There's lots of councils up for election in London, in other parts of the country as well. You said it's going to be a dire night for the Labour Party. What impact do you think that's going to have on Sir Keir Starmer's leadership as British Prime Minister?
Oh, I think it will be very, I will say, it will be very dangerous for Sir Keir Starmer. It will be very hard for him to carry on as a Prime Minister. There is a lot of, I would say, no confidence from backbenchers in Labour Party already, and we have seen they are talking about the new leadership, in-house change in Parliament, and if the results are what people are talking about it, or what some polls are saying, that if it will be very much disappointing for Labour, we can expect an in-house change in 10 Downing Street as well.
Yeah, but you're a broadcaster, you're an international broadcaster. You will know that the Labour Party do not change leaders whilst they're in government. It's very, very hard to get rid of a leader in the Labour Party, and particularly when they're in government. It's 82 MPs would need to write to the General Secretary asking for a leadership ballot, and then that process begins. So it's going to be very hard for it to dislodge him. He gave an interview yesterday to Laura Kroonsberg on the BBC where he said, I'm not going anywhere. whatever happens, I'll be back here again doing this interview with you. Do you think Labour have, they either win with Keir Starmer or they sink, regardless of what happens in these elections? Because all governments, you will know this, all governments suffer from midterm blues. The people want to lash out at a government, and this is the way to do it in these important elections.
It's in Keir Starmer's case, it is not about the midterm election. It is about the crisis since he came into power and the way he has handling. It's always so many questions been raised from the first year of his leadership, the way he handled so many issues during last 2 years. And there are so many points, or there were so many moments within last 1.5, 2 years where there were very strong chances that they will get the signature of about 90 MPs, to talking about the change of leadership within the Labour Party. So I think some things in Labour which are unprecedented, as you said. Yes, there is never happened, but Keir Starmer's position at the moment is being challenged a lot especially from the northwest of England, and then from the central,
Do you think he could walk away? Do you think that same Keir Starmer, when he got elected as leader, of the Labour Party back in 2020, and I don't know if you remember the Hartlepool by-election, which the Labour Party lost to the Conservatives, he considered resigning because he felt if he couldn't win in Hartlepool, he don't think he could win anywhere. Do you think there comes a moment where he just thinks, enough's enough, I don't want this, I want to move on?
I think now, since he believes that he have overcome few of the crises, now he will not give up. I believe that. I have interviewed him one-to-one, Sir Keir Starmer, about 4 years ago, and I remember asking him few questions, and I think I have found him very much committed to his own decisions, and I think he will not step down. No, he will fight. Even whatever case is, he will fight.
Yeah. So we're obviously, if you follow the opinion polls, Dr. Hamid Al-Mashriqi, we're predicting that the SNP will win in Scotland. Wales, we think the Plaid Cymru will be the first party. Might not get a majority, but they could team up with Labour and have a progressive alliance as they have it in the past. And then local elections, you will see a mass rise of Liberal Democrats, Reform, and possibly Conservative councillors. How would you see Jeremy Corbyn's, your party, the Green Party, on the left, people having choices between all these different parties?
Actually,
and independents as well. I forgot independent candidates.
Yeah. To be honest, Jeremy Corbyn's party is not. I'm not very much optimistic, because they just recently formed. A political party needs at least 4 to 5 years to be established properly. Yes, Jeremy Corbyn have some very good names in his party now, but still, if they make an alliance, that is the only thing which I believe lacks in British politics. It is the small political parties alliance. If they make alliance like Green Party and the other parties, if they make an alliance, because their ideology is quite similar. They are against Reform Party. They are against very conservatives. So if those ideologies can reform a kind of alliance, and then they go in an election jointly, they can have much better results and they can have much better impact. Because they always contest the elections individually basis on their own platforms. They cannot achieve the maximum numbers of their councillors or consuls, or they cannot win it. Whether it is Lib Dem, whether it is Green Party, whether it is Jeremy Corbyn, they all have to make some kind of alliance. And this is the only thing which I have not seen in British politics. We have seen in subcontinent, whether in India,
you see it in
Bangladesh.
I was just going to say, sorry to interrupt, but I'd say you see it in France. You saw the Left Party, the Socialists, the Greens form that alliance. You saw that in Germany as well in the federal elections. Yeah, but you could see Zach Polanski now. I've interviewed Zach Polanski a couple of times. You could see him, Jeremy Corbyn, Zara Sultana, creating an anti-Labour Tory, alliance with the SNP and Plaid Cymru included. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But we all say it's going to be a bad night for the Prime Minister and the Labour Party. Okay, let's talk a bit about Pakistan and Imran Khan. Now, we know Imran Khan's two sons have been giving many interviews. He was Imran Khan, the former Prime Minister, leader of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, has unfairly been punished. This is what his supporters are saying. Obviously, we're on Takbeer TV and I'm going to have to be balanced here. The allegations that were made against him, he was tried, he'd been found guilty. One of them was over Christmas, called a Toshkana. Two, these are gifts that are given by foreign leaders. The leaders can either give them to the state, or if they want to buy these gifts from the state, they pay a reduced rate. And what they're saying is that Imran Khan and his wife, when they were making the cost of these gifts, they were putting it at the lower end, which allowed them to purchase something which was, for example, 300 million rupees, and they were able to pay 10 million or 20 million. And that was the allegation. They were found guilty. There are inconsistencies in the evidence that was produced, the political attacks that he has faced, Imran Khan, over the past 3 years. He's been jailed, he's been given bail, he's been cleared of some of the charges, but there's ongoing witch hunt against him with the political parties who lost the election in government and the political party that won that election in February 2024, and their leader is incarcerated in prison. That's what the two different viewpoints are. Some say that he was a greedy man who got found out and he's paid a heavy price for that. Others saying that he's a victim because of his usuls, his passion and desire. Hamid Al-Mashriqi, how do you see the Imran Khan phenomenon that we've seen in these past few weeks?
Let me tell you one thing. There is no doubt that Imran Khan is still the most popular political leader in Pakistan. Despite of all these convictions, despite of all these allegations, despite of all the efforts by the federal government and provincial governments and all the resources to make him unpopular or affect his popularity, nothing's happening. He is very popular, the most popular. But the thing is that there is a very sad reality with Pakistan's politics and Pakistan's history, that political victimization is a continuous thing which is happening in Pakistan for the last 60, 70 years. Within last 30 years, it came on its peak. Now, in Imran Khan's case, the thing is a bit different. The difference is that Imran Khan is enjoying the public popularity at the level which has never happened before. And that's why the public believes in that Imran Khan is only being politically victimized. He does not need to do such kind of petty, things like Tosha Khana 2 case or Tosha Khana 1 case. And they all believe that when the table will turn, we have seen in Pakistan, there is an overnight change in the setup. And if the table will turn, he will be out of the jail. He will be released.
If the deal on the table is compromise, leave the country, go to Saudi Arabia, go to the UK, keep quiet for 5 years. He said no to that. He was offered other deals, to restrict his political activity. He has said no to any sort of those deals. So he's not giving the government, he's not giving the establishment any reason to compromise. So it's just, it's like a dead fight, isn't it?
Yes. To be honest, Shafiq, I'm working on not a compromise, but I'm working on reconciliation. That is the main thing. We have to come to some kind of reconciliation for a continuity of a political process and stability, economical stability in the country. We need, Imran Khan to show a little bit flexibility. I don't say that he changes his principal stance. I never say that he will bow down to anyone. But considering the ground realities of Pakistan's politics and establishment and the political parties and the current scenario, right? The people are suffering. To reduce the suffering of the people of Pakistan, if he has to come on some points of reconciliation, where his popularity will not be affected. Rather, he will get some relief in terms of staying in the jail. He could be out of the prison. So I think there has to be some very practical possibilities. I mean, I wrote an article with 6 points of reconciliation, possible reconciliation, where he will get some. Obviously, he should get some kind of relief. Government is the one who has to take the first initiative. It is always the case, unless and until government will not take the first initiative for some kind of dialogue, some kind of process, there is no possibility of political stability. And in current Pakistan situation, political stability is must. That is the must thing. And I think our establishment have very much realized that. And I think in coming months, you will see in coming weeks, there will be some signs of reconciliation.
I was just going to say, when I was... When we were looking forward to Donald Trump's inauguration this time last year, I don't know if you remember, we had a conversation on a different channel that I used to work for. And I remember we talked about the relationship between Imran Khan and Donald Trump and members of his incoming administration. Yeah. What's extraordinary is that Donald Trump is besotted with the Field Marshal, Syed Asim Munir Saab, and Shehbaz Sharif, the Prime Minister, and that speech that he made at that Gaza summit. It's interesting how Donald Trump was supposed to help get Imran Khan out of jail. Donald Trump hasn't mentioned Imran Khan at all over the last 12 months. And now he's best friends with the Field Marshal and he's coming over for lunch. And what's going on?
To be very honest, the politics and the power politics is very cruel thing. It is the reality. Second thing is that I believe that the situation, the circumstances have very warmly favored General Asim Munir Sahab. Field Marshal have, to be very honest, have participated in so many events very positively. Literally, his feedback from across the world was amazing. So, I mean, sometimes luck favors you, circumstances favors you. On the other hand, the Pakistan-India war, that was a great, success for Pakistan Army, and obviously the man who's leading it is General Asim Munir. So he enjoy all the support for that, and he deserves it. But the problem, or I would say the thing is that the people who voted to Trump in America, the Pakistani voters, they were expecting President Trump to give some kind of statement or to take some kind of action where he can ask for a fair trial for Imran Khan. Sadly, Trump is unpredictable. He proved it unpredictable, and he will carry on doing it. And last thing, I always say that you remember at that time even I mentioned that I don't believe that Pakistani politics should be depending or looking to for foreign powers, whether it is Saudi Arabia or America. I think Pakistanis has to resolve their issues and matters within the country. We should not be depending on support or on some kind of signals from America or from any other countries who are very much involved in Pakistan's affairs. So I think it is in another way, it is better for Pakistan that we will eventually resolve and we will solve our problem within our country.
Yeah, and we're coming towards the end of our time together. So I just wanted to ask you that question. Do you think Imran Khan will be released in 2026?
Definitely. I can give you in writing.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm sure about it.
So we're going to get the studio we're getting the studio to record that, and we'll play it back to you next year, inshallah, if we're both here, to see if that was success. And how do you see Shehbaz Sharif's government? Because we know that Mullah Fazl Rahman from JUIF group disentangling themselves from the government. We see the People's Party also now thinking we need to disentangle ourselves so we can prepare for the next election as well. Otherwise, we'll be punished by voters. MQM are also thinking about their voters in Sindh. Yeah. Do you think this government of Shehbaz Sharif, which has been successful up until now, do you think it'll stay in office for 2026? And will it go on united as they are as a coalition government?
To be very honest, since the decision from the Supreme Court about the special seats, Shahbaz Sharif's political party, Muslim League Nawaz, is holding a simple majority. They do not need any coalition parties, as you know. They needed it in the beginning, but now they are in a simple majority. They can run their government without the support of People's Party or Maulana Fazlur Rahman or NKM. But the thing is, I believe that after lots of challenges, Shahbaz Sharif's government is stable in terms of their hold in the National Assembly. But on the other hand, there are so many economical challenges. There are so many political challenges. There are so many international challenges where Shahbaz Sharif needs its allies. Shahbaz Sharif needs a support from the political, powers. He has unconditional support from the establishment. He has the most support from the establishment in the history of Pakistan. I can tell you, never ever I have seen the establishment and the Prime Minister on the same page ever like that. But
Is it a bit like the hybrid system that Rana Sanallah, the special advisor to Shahbaz Sharif, the former interior minister, he says that we all accept the hybrid system, military, civilian government working in partnership.
yes, definitely. I mean, whether we admit it or not, it is a kind of hybrid system at the moment. But as long as if it is for the benefit of the people of the Pakistan first. Second thing is, as long as it does not implement any kind of dictatorship on the public. And third, if it is acceptable for the political leadership, then I mean we may have to run like that for next few years. The only reason is that hybrid system is not acceptable when we talk about the human rights violation, when we talk about the political victimization, when we talk about the marginalization of certain political party or certain political leadership. That is the only thing which goes against the hybrid system, and I think they have to work out that. Otherwise, the current hybrid system is working excellent between Shahbaz Sharif and military leadership.
Yeah. I want to wrap up now. What are your top 3 predictions for 2026?
Number one, I want to bite my tongue, but the fact is, I can see some big wars in this year. Secondly, I think Pakistan will go through some kind of political, I would say, not saying turmoil, but there will be some kind of change in the current political, scenario or status. And third, I think the China will have to come much stronger in terms of taking their role in the global issues, because without that there is no possibility. The world is going towards the new world order, to the unipolar world, and that is unacceptable for China and Russia. Multipolar world will be very much exposed this year.
Yeah, and that interesting thing. I just wanted to, I suppose, another question that's just come in. Do you see the possibility of Pakistani troops joining that international peacekeeping force if there is a second phase of the Israel-Gaza ceasefire?
Oh, $1 million question. I was on another channel.
हम छोटे सवाल तो नहीं करते ना. कहते हैं ना छोटे बंदे से छोटे सवाल होते हैं, बड़े बंदे से बड़े सवाल होते हैं.
Thank you. No, I appreciate it. Brother, the only thing is Pakistan establishment, Pakistan's public will never be the part of it. I'm telling you, even the army and establishment, where they have to disarm Hamas with the name of destabilization force. As if they have this mandate, Pakistan army boots will never join that. I can give you in writing one thing. This is I'm saying on the basis of my best knowledge as well as my analysis. And last thing is, because the aim of this destabilization force is to disarm Hamas, that's why I think Pakistan army will not be the part of it.
Okay. Well, Dr. Hamid Al-Mashriqi, it's always a pleasure, sir. Thank you so much for joining us as we looked ahead to 2026. And I look forward to seeing you back here in the studio. That was Dr. Hamid Al-Mashriqi, the international correspondent, broadcaster, and political commentator who was joining us live there from the Pakistani capital of Islamabad. We've come to the end of our program. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and thank you so much for all the comments we've had on social media as well, and the views that we have. Hopefully, inshallah, in the weeks to come, as we head to Ramadan, we'll start bringing a number of Islamic scholars to talk about the preparation of purifying the soul as we head into, we are currently in the month of Rajab and Shaban and Ramadan. I'll see you very, very soon. From me, Muhammad Shafiq, and the whole team here at Takbeer TV. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'll see you very, very soon. Assalamu alaikum, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.